Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I just received this new storage device and I want to do an unboxing and an initial review of the SanDisk Extreme Portable SSD. This is the version 2, which basically lets you have a read speed of up to 1050 megabytes per second and a write speed of up to 1000 megabytes per second. That is actually really fast considering this is an external drive and the unit that I got is a 500 GB model. I just received this. One of the other reasons why I bought this is because the unit is water resistant and dust resistant, IP55, and drop proof to a level, and this is very useful for travel. So let's have a look at the box. The design is like a flat design with a keyhole that you can put a ring around, right? Here it tells you the capacity 500 GB and then the read and write speed. So this is the 1050 megabyte per second read speed version. Okay, not much at the side, and then just going through, basically it says high speed, IP55 dust and water resistant, shock and vibration resistant. It basically uses the USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C connector. We'll go a bit more into the USB standards and what speed we can get afterwards. Not other thing much to it. Basically there's a manual, the drive, and then the USB C to C cable and an adapter. It works on Windows. So it works on, let me just make sure I can get that. So it works on if I can get this to focus. So it works on Windows 10, Windows 8.1, Windows 7, and it works on Mac OS El Capitan and above. And it works on USB-C, and this particular model has got this encryption. That's one of the other reasons why I bought this. So just received this. Let's have a look at what is inside. So this is the Extreme Portable SSD version 2. This is the speed rating. Okay, we'll go through different models that SanDisk actually has. So it's just a very simple container. Okay, so this looks quite good. So actually a really small device. Alright, and I'm just going to leave this aside for now. There's a manual, and then there is a really short C to C cable, and then there is an adapter for C to A. Right, so the cable is C to C. So if your laptop or computer has a direct USB-C connector, you can just use the short cable. So I'm going to leave this aside. Let me just take this and okay. Now there's a soft rubberized feel to this, so this is quite good, and it should be quite sturdy. Very lightweight, so I'd say like this is probably about like 6 to 7 cms by 3 cms. Okay, how heavy is this? So I've got my scale, about 61 grams. That's pretty light. So if you compare to my USB hard disk, this is like 3 times more heavy. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this aside. Alright, so this is the first time I'm connecting using the provided cable. The adapter, we got to watch it so we don't lose it. I'm going to leave this aside too. So first, I'm going to use the native C to C connection. So this is just one USB-C port on the drive. Alright, so this is C to C, very short cable. And then let me just leave it here and then plug into my USB-C drive for the very first time. Okay, and there's actually security software, so this lets you actually encrypt or password protect the drive. So this is connected. Let me just go properties. It's got 500 GB, 465 GB free space. Right, let me just close this. So just to check what is the speed like, I am actually going to use Crystal Dismark 8.0. Right, so just to give you a feel, I'm going to select my C drive. This is my C drive, which is, let me just actually zoom in. Okay, so my C drive, this is my inbuilt on the motherboard NVMe SSD. So we'll do a 1Q1 thread sequential speed test. This is my hard disk or my SSD in my laptop. So let's see how fast this is. My internal SSD on a single thread and single queue write and read and write gives me about 1.4 gigabytes per second. Okay, so that's my internal drive. So let's test the SanDisk Extreme Portable. That's on my D drive. All right, so let's test this. I actually switch it over to the 8 queues, 1 thread, right? And this is the speed. So my read speed from my laptop here is 420 megabytes per second, and the write speed is 373 megabytes per second. I was wondering why the speed is much lower than the documented 1000 megabytes per second. I've just checked, basically on my laptop, the USB connector that I have is actually 3.1 Gen 1 only. So that's actually limited to about like 550 megabytes per second. So with the drive, I think this is quite acceptable. But we'll look through the USB standards afterwards. So a lot of the performance of the storage actually depends on what USB ports that you have on your laptop. Okay, and we'll look at the standards afterwards, right? So I'm just going to remove my drive. Okay, now I want to just test out my existing hard disk. I'm also actually using a Western Digital USB 3.0. So this USB 3.0 is the exact standard that what my computer has, and this is one of the fastest hard drives that there is. So this is the Western Digital Passport 1 terabyte drive. So let's have a look at what speed I get from this. Okay, so I've just plugged in my hard drive. I'll run Crystal Dismark again. So this is my E drive. Okay, so test is being ran. So I'm just going to pause for a while. So this is my USB 3.0 physical hard drive, and I'm getting a read speed about 133 megabytes per second and a write speed of 124. So the SanDisk SSD on my laptop basically is just over 3.5 times faster. So that would be quite useful. And I also have a fairly old USB 2.0 hard drive. Now if you have one of these lying around and if you're still using this, let me just check what speed I have on this one. Let me just connect this. And then just let me run the Bismarck. Okay, so I've got D drive, and then let me run this. My USB 2.0 hard disk, external hard disk, gives me a read and write speed about 40 megabytes per second, and the disk is like 4-5 years old. So having a external SSD, it's about like 10 times faster, at least on my computer. And if you use a computer with a faster USB port, the SanDisk can probably get to like 8 or 900 megabytes per second. Okay, so let's have a look at how to actually set up security for this SanDisk. Now let me just plug this thing back in. Let me just zoom in, and there's a installer for security for Windows, so let me just run install. I understand this is SanDisk security, so I'm just going to say install. Okay, so finish. So there's actually a application, so I'm just going to run the application. Right, so secure a drive to keep others from accessing your files, and I'm sure I can change the password later, so let me just use password. Okay, there's a enable auto unlock, which I will not, so I'm going to say set password. Security is enabled on the drive. Close. Let me eject this. Okay, so the disk has been ejected, so I'm going to pull out the drive. Okay, pulling out the drive, and let me just reconnect this. Okay, so let's see what happens. So it actually tells me to run unlock. Okay, you know what, this application looks exactly like the Western Digital security lock application, and there's a reason why, because Western Digital actually owns SanDisk. Western D actually acquired SanDisk in 2018, so SanDisk is now a brand under Western Digital. So let me just type in my password. Oops. Okay, and then there you go. So without the password, one cannot actually access the drive. Okay, so now let me see if I can actually change the password. So run the SanDisk security again. I can say remove password or change password. So I can say remove or change password. So let me say if I remove password. Okay, so password has been removed. Okay, let me try to eject. Okay, I'm just going to remove this, and then let me just plug it back in again. There we go. All right, so now there is no password. Okay, so based on this, let me just eject this. There we go. Okay, now based on what you saw just now, it is, if you're a technical person, you'd probably understand like how the thing works, right? Your password is not actually being used to encrypt the drive. The drive is actually already encrypted on AES 256. Your password actually just allows you to access the partition. So when you change your password, or when you remove your password, the drive doesn't go and or unencrypt itself. By default, it's already encrypted. Okay, but going through the interface, whether you have a password to access the interface or not. This is not the same as a full hardware encryption or encrypted drive based on your password. Okay, your password just allows you to access the drive. Anyway, I won't go into too much detail, but at least there is security control for this. Okay. Now, I actually want to share with you some extra information. All right. So if you can just bear with me on this. Now, the reason why my laptop can only use this SanDisk drive up to like 400 megabytes per second is because my laptop uses the USB 3.0 specification. Okay, this has got a lot of names, but ultimately the latest name is actually USB super speed 5 megabit per second. All right, so because my laptop has this, the transfer speed is actually limited to 500 megabytes per second, although the drive can go to 1000. Okay, now there are two newer versions of USB 3.0 specification. So let me just quickly go through with you. Now, the original USB 3.0 was renamed to 3.1 Gen 1, and then it got renamed again to USB 3.2 Gen 1. So whenever you see Gen 1, it actually means USB 3.0. So my laptop, when I bought it, listed 3.1 Gen 1, which is up to 5 gigabit per second. Transfer speed 500 megabytes per second, or the super speed 5 gigabit per second USB. Okay. Now the newer standard after 3.0 is USB 3.1, and it got renamed to USB 3.1 Gen 2, and now is also called USB 3.2 Gen 2. Don't ask me why is it so confusing, but basically 3.1 equivalent to 3.2 Gen 2 has a data rate of 10 gigabit per second, which allows a transfer speed of 1.2 gigabyte per second. So assuming if I change my laptop to one that has this drive that I bought automatically gets a speed bump to maybe about 900 megabytes per second. Okay, and this standard is the super speed 10 gigabit per second USB. Now the latest USB 3.2 is also known now as the USB 3.2 Gen 2 times 2. This allows 20 gigabit per second data rate and file transfer speed up to 2.4 gigabyte per second, and it's also known as the USB super speed 20 gigabit per second. Okay, this will be like the super latest laptops. Then of course the incoming would be USB 4.0. So USB 4, which is actually based on Thunderbolt 3, will double the speed up to a max of 40 gigabit per second. So long and short, I knew that my laptop only has 3.2 Gen 1 or 5 gigabit per second USB, but I knowingly actually bought the faster drive for future proofing because the price wasn't so much difference. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to give you a bit more information. Now when you're looking for this particular device, okay, I want to just share a bit because it's a little bit confusing and I took a bit of time to actually understand it. There are actually 4 devices in the market for the Extreme Portable SSD from SanDisk. There are 4 different devices, and unfortunately they all look almost exactly alike. If you get a drive without seeing the label, it's not likely that you will know which is which. Okay, now just quickly, there is a version 1 portable SSD. So SanDisk Portable, this yellow color, okay, has a version 1, that's the older version. It's got a Extreme Portable version 1 and it's got an Extreme Pro Portable version 1. So these are all. If you ever buy in the market, try to get the version 2. Okay, so just quickly, version 1, the Extreme Portable, basically has a max rated speed of 550 megabytes per second, and you actually know this based on the model SDSSDE60. So if you see SDSSDE60, this is the portable SSD version 1, 3 years warranty, no encryption. And then the version 1 Pro, the difference is that it actually uses PCIe NVMe versus SATA. So this one is actually SDSSDE80. This is the old version, and this one has a max rated speed of 1050 megabytes per second because it uses NVMe PCIe, but there's no encryption either. And this one has 5 years warranty compared to the 3 years of the non-Pro. Now, so these are the old stuff. Okay, we should not buy the old things. Version 2 just came out. So the Extreme Portable, this is what I bought. Extreme Portable. The model number is SDSSDE61, and this has a max rated read speed of 1050 megabytes per second and comes with AES-256 encryption and 5 years warranty. If your computer has a faster interface, which is the USB 3.2 Gen 2 x 2, you may want to consider the Extreme Pro version 2. This one has a max rated speed of 2000 megabytes per second, 5 years warranty, and also with encryption. Now all these drives are IP55 rated, so it's dust proof and splash proof. Okay, so just quickly showing you the price. Remember, there are two version 1s, old. There are two version 2s. Okay, and every version has a normal and pro model. So this is non-pro version 1. The 500 GB is about 400 ringgits. I've checked, this is just recent price. The Extreme Pro version 1, this is the old version. The 500 GB is 589. So quite a lot of difference between the Pro and non-Pro. Now, and neither the Pro or non-Pro version 1 has encryption, so no encryption. Now on the Extreme Portable version 2 non-Pro, this is what I bought. The 500 GB unit is about 500 ringgits. And if you want the super high speed Extreme Pro version 2, this is the latest. This is 1 terabyte, and the price is about 1000 ringgit and above. All right. So my requirements was I needed password protection and encryption. So I got stuck between these two models, so either the version 2 non-Pro or the version 2 Pro. The version 2 Pro was just way too expensive. So I basically stuck with the version 2 non-Pro. And this has a hardware encryption, speed up till 1050 megabytes per second, 5 years warranty, and splash proof. Now, if you have a older laptop, maybe like me, and you don't want to spend 500 ringgit, Western Digital has a little bit older but with password protection. So this one I was also looking at. This is the Western Digital My Passport External Portable SSD, and the 512 GB. This one also has password protection and encryption, and the maximum speed rated is up to like 450 megabytes per second, because this is actually a SATA drive. This one costs about 350 ringgits now. So I was contemplating whether to buy this or to buy this, and I went with the Extreme Portable SSD SanDisk, with price difference about 150 ringgits. because I thought I needed the extra speed. So those are the considerations you can do. All right. All right. So it's been a long video, and I just got this. So I plan to um, use this as a direct store for videos for my video editing, and also to install some games so that I don't wear out my internal SSD. So let's see. Maybe I will do a updated video, maybe after a month or so, to see like what comes out of this. All right. All right. So if you've got any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. Okay. Um, so let me just. Okay. So this is what I bought at 498. All right. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching.